Okay, so I, like many of you, was not expecting this to happen today, as I'm pretty sure that Nancy Pelosi wasn't expecting this to happen today. So Trump apparently punked Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer by letting the press in on a briefing that they were going to have on, I guess, some compromises that they might have wanted to do in what's left of the current congressional session, which is ending on the 1st, the New Year's. So we're just going to do a reaction, pure reaction to all of the action that happened here. And here we go.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Nancy Pelosi with us and Chuck Schumer with us, and we've actually worked.
So Chuck Schumer looks very uncomfortable. You can see he's clutching his wrist over here. And we don't really see Pelosi's face as much. I'm assuming, I saw a little of this video. I'm not sure if you get to see Sarah Huckabee's face, because I'm sure that at certain points she wanted to kind of laugh at what was going on. But I've only really heard mostly audio of this, so I want to see people's body language here.
Very hard on a couple of things that are happening. Criminal justice reform. As you know, we just got word that Mitch McConnell and the group, we're going to be putting it up for a vote. We have great Democrat support, great Republican support. So criminal justice reform, something that people have been trying to get, how long, Nancy? Many years. Many years. Looks like it's going to be passing, hopefully, famous last words, on a very bipartisan way. And it's really something we're all very proud of. And again, tremendous support from Republicans and tremendous support from Democrats. And I think it's going to get a very good vote. And we'll see soon enough, but it'll be up for a vote very shortly. A lot of years they've been waiting for it. The other thing, the Farm Bill is moving along nicely. And I guess they'll be voting on Friday or so, but pretty close. Soon. And we think the Farm Bill's in very good shape. A lot of good things are happening with it, and our farmers are well taken care of. And again, that'll be quite bipartisan, and it'll happen pretty soon. And then we have the easy one, the wall. That'll be the one that will be the easiest of all.
And this is where the trolling starts. So another thing that he said earlier was criminal justice reform. We've been trying to do it for, and he asked Pelosi for how long. That's a dig, of course, because she's old as hell. So
you think, Chuck? Maybe not.
It's called funding the government, Mr. President.
So we're going to see. But I will tell you, the wall will get built. We'll see what happens. It is not an easy situation because the Democrats have a different view, I think, than I can say the Republicans. We have great Republican support. We don't have Democrat support. But we're going to talk about that now. We're going to see. One thing that I do have to say is tremendous amounts of wall have already been built. And a lot of wall, when you include the renovation of existing fences and walls. We've renovated a tremendous amount. And we've done a lot of work. In San Diego, we're building new walls right now. And we've, right next to San Diego, we've completed a major section of wall.
So I want you guys to know what he's doing here. They can't insult him directly to his face because they're not really, they don't have the balls to do it. Neither Schumer or Pelosi. So he's just saying the word wall as many times as possible while they're in the room. Because it's humiliating them, because they've said, like, for over and over again, they've said, he's not going to get his wall, the wall is not going to be built, the wall is ridiculous, the wall, and he's just going to keep talking about the wall until he drives them up a wall.
And it's really worked well. So a lot of wall has been built. We don't talk about that, but we might as well start because it's being built right now, big sections of wall. And we will continue that. And one way or the other, it's going to get built. I'd like not to see a government closing, a shutdown. We will see what happens over the next short period of time. But the wall is a very important thing to us. I might put it a different way. Border security is extremely important. And we have to take care of border security. When you look at what happened with the caravans, with the people, we shut it down. We had no choice. We shut it down. But it could be a lot easier if we had real border security. I just want to pay my respects to the Border Patrol agents and officers, they've been incredible. The ICE agents and officers.
So he's embarrassing them because so much of the Democratic base is so anti-border security. They're against ICE, they're against deportation, and they're just sitting there taking it while he's just, holding court. And they don't want it at all like this. The less they're seen with him, the better for them.
They've been incredible, and very importantly, our military. Our military went in, and they did an incredible job. They have been really, really spectacular. A lot of the people that wanted to come into the country, and really they were going to come in no matter how they wanted to come in, they were going to come in even a rough way. Many of these people are leaving now, and they're going back to their countries, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and other countries. They're leaving. If you notice, it's getting a lot less crowded in Mexico. And a lot of them are going to stay in Mexico, and the Mexican government's been working with us very well. So we appreciate that. But they haven't been coming into our country. We can't let people come in that way. So that's pretty much it. We're going to talk about the wall. I wanted to talk about criminal justice reform just to let you know how positive that is. I want to talk about the Farm Bill, how positive that is. And I want to talk about the wall. And I will tell you, it's a tough issue because we are on very opposite sides of I really think I can say border security, but certainly the wall. But the wall will get built. A lot of the wall is built. It's been very effective. I asked for a couple of notes on that. If you look at San Diego, illegal traffic dropped 92% once the wall was up. El Paso, illegal traffic dropped 72%, then ultimately 95% once the wall was up. In Tucson, Arizona, illegal traffic dropped 92%. Yuma, it dropped illegal traffic 95 to 96%. I mean, and that when I say dropped, the only reason we even have any percentage where people got through is because they walk and go around areas that aren't built. It dropped virtually 100% in the areas where the wall is. So, I mean, it's very effective.
So he's just going on and ranting. And I mean, what are they supposed to do? Get up and leave? Pretend he has to take a dump in Schumer's case or something? They can't do anything. They're stuck.
If you really want to find out how effective a wall is, just ask Israel. 99.9% effective. Then our wall will be every bit as good as that, if not better.
Now he's trolling them because the fact is, I'm going to admit this. The Schumer especially, he cannot, he depends a lot on the help of organizations like AIPAC. So if he objected to that, he would be basically, but I'll say this, okay? The progressives don't trust Schumer at all. So he has nothing to gain from insulting Israel because they're not going to believe him anyway, the progressives, because he's a liar. And they would be right. So he has to shut up and just take it.
So we've done a lot of work on the wall. A lot of wall is built. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of wall is renovated. We have walls that were in very bad condition that are now in A1 tip-top shape. Frankly, some wall has been reinforced by our military. Our military has done a fantastic job. So the wall will get built, but we may not have an agreement today. We probably won't.
Okay, we're going to be doing. Okay, we're going to be talking about this Nancy Pelosi meeting with Chuck Schumer. Sorry, I had to refresh my screen because I just tried streaming this live. But in any case, welcome back to Bold live streaming. I hope that you enjoyed your time away from me. Obviously, some of you did join on the other channel, but I attempted a live stream earlier this week, and then when I looked, it turns out that this streaming tool was on the private settings, so it comes as no surprise that you guys weren't able to see it. So we're gonna watch this. We're going to get some reaction from me, from them. It's a funny room. You see, of course, in the foreground, you have Madame Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, incoming Speaker of the House at least. And then you have Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer grabbing his wrist, like ready to basically choke himself to death. And then there's Mike Pence. Mike Pence, I'm not really totally secure on what I think about him. And then there's also, of course, President Trump. And you'll see soon there's Sarah Sanders as well. Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Nancy Pelosi with us and Chuck Schumer with us. And we've actually worked very hard on a couple of things that are happening. Criminal justice reform. As you know, we just got word that Mitch McConnell and the group, we're going to be putting it up for a vote. We have great Democrat support, great Republican support. So criminal justice reform, something that people have been trying to get, how long, Nancy? Many years. Many years. Looks like it's going to be passing, hopefully, famous last words, on a very bipartisan way. And it's really something we're all very proud of. And again, tremendous support from Republicans and tremendous support from Democrats. And I think it's going to get a very good vote. And we'll see soon enough, but it'll be up for a vote very shortly. A lot of years they've been waiting for it. The other thing, the Farm Bill is moving along nicely, and I guess they'll be voting on Friday or so, but pretty close.
Soon.
And we think the Farm Bill's in very good shape. A lot of good things are happening with it, and our farmers are well taken care of. And again, that'll be quite bipartisan, and it'll happen pretty soon. And then we have the easy one, the wall. That'll be the one that will be the easiest of all.
So he attempts several trolls on them, and there's nothing they can do because Pelosi and Schumer are basically stuck there. They can't leave. If Schumer wants to get up and take a dump, he can't, or pretend that he does. Even though it looks very much, if you looked at him in the previous shot, he doesn't look very comfortable. And what he's going to do here is he's going to make fun of them as much as he can in several ways. First of all, he asked, Nancy Pelosi, how long has it been since you've been trying to pass criminal justice reform? A long, long time, right? Implying that she's very old. Which is great because she's older than him. And then he's just going to keep saying the word wall because they hate it. They don't want to be seen anywhere near him. And they especially don't want him talking about the wall right in front of them. And then you have the issue with him talking about ICE and Border Patrol as well. You'll see that too.
What do you think, Chuck? Maybe not?
It's called funding the government, Mr. President.
So we're going to see. But I will tell you the wall will get built. We'll see what happens.
He gets them to call him Mr. President, which they don't like doing either.
It is not an easy situation because the Democrats have a different view, I think, than I can say the Republicans. We have great Republican support. We don't have Democrat support. But we're going to talk about that now. We're going to see. One thing that I do have to say is tremendous amounts of wall have already been built, and a lot of wall when you include the renovation of existing fences and walls. We've renovated a tremendous amount.
So he's saying wall literally as many times as he can, and he's going to keep doing it because it makes them more and more uncomfortable as the dialogue keeps going.
And we've done a lot of work in San Diego. We're building new walls right now, and we've right next to San Diego, we've completed a major section of wall, and it's really worked well. So a lot of wall has been built. We don't talk about that, but we might as well start because it's being built right now, big sections of wall. And we will continue that. And one way or the other, it's going to get built. I'd like not to see a government closing, a shutdown. We will see what happens over the next short period of time. But the wall is a very important thing to us. I might put it a different way. Border security is extremely important. And we have to take care of border security. When you look at what happened with the caravans, with the people, we shut it down. We had no choice. We shut it down. But it could be a lot easier if we had real border security. I just want to pay my respects to the Border Patrol agents and officers, they've been incredible. The ICE agents and officers, they've been incredible. And very importantly, our military. Our military went in and they did an incredible job. They have been really, really spectacular. A lot of the people that wanted to come into the country, and really they were going to come in no matter how they wanted to come in, they were going to come in even a rough way. Many of these people are leaving now and they're going back to their countries, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and other countries. They're leaving. If you notice, it's getting a lot less crowded in Mexico. And a lot of them are going to stay in Mexico. And the Mexican government's been working with us very well. So we appreciate that. But they haven't been coming into our country. We can't let people come in that way. So that's pretty much it. We're going to talk about the wall. I wanted to talk about criminal justice reform just to let you know how positive that is. I want to talk about the Farm Bill, how positive that is. And I want to talk about the wall. And I will tell you, it's a tough issue because we are on very opposite sides of I really think I can say border security, but certainly the wall. But the wall will get built. A lot of the wall is built. It's been very effective. I asked for a couple of notes on that. If you look at San Diego, illegal traffic dropped 92% once the wall was up. El Paso, illegal traffic dropped 72%, then ultimately 95% once the wall was up. In Tucson, Arizona, illegal traffic dropped.
So yeah, more and more wall. He just keeps saying the word wall, and it's very important for him to keep emphasizing it because he's going to make the entire negotiation is going to be about the wall. He's going to keep talking about the wall, and this is also in order to keep the Republicans on the notice that he doesn't care. You know, he mentioned all the other stuff. You know, the criminal justice reform. That would be publicity-wise, that would be an accomplishment. Somebody asked me earlier today what I think about the criminal justice bill. I'm not entirely, well versed on what's going on with it, so I don't know whether I support it or I don't support it. You're invited to put your own opinion, but it's the wall. The wall is the real important thing for him.
92%. Yuma. It dropped illegal traffic 95 to 96%. I mean, and that when I say dropped, the only reason we even have any percentage where people got through is because they walk and go around areas that aren't built. It dropped virtually 100% in the areas where the wall is. So, I mean, it's very effective. If you really want to find out how effective a wall is, just ask Israel. 99.9% effective. Then our wall will be every bit as good as that.
So there's another troll he's using because Schumer especially can't really attack Israel because Schumer himself is supported by a lot of Israel supporters, including AIPAC, including actual lobbyists. And I'm not gonna say whether whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I would say lobbying is bad across the board, whatever country it is. So. Trump didn't really run as much as an AIPAC president candidate. He wasn't as much of an AIPAC candidate, but he's been almost obsessively pro-Israel since he's been president. And Schumer is not really in a position to oppose him on this. So again, he's stuck there kind of nodding along and pretending that pretending that he's having a good time here, which at a certain point he can't pretend anymore.
Not better. So we've done a lot of work on the wall. A lot of wall is built. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of wall is renovated. We have walls that were in very bad condition that are now in A1 tip-top shape. Frankly, some wall has been reinforced by our military. Our military has done a fantastic job. So the wall will get built, but we may not have an agreement today. We probably won't. But we have an agreement on other things that are really good. Nancy, would you like to say something?
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to meet with you so that we can work together in a bipartisan way to meet the needs of the American people. I think the American people recognize that we must keep government open, that a shutdown is not.
Okay, this clearly seems very scripted. And Nancy Pelosi, since the election, has been harping on the whole bipartisanship thing, which I think it's largely because she's in a difficult position, because the donor class of the DNC doesn't really care about actually holding the Democrats to their principles as far as, their healthcare agenda or any of their, their anti-ICE agenda or anything else that they've been talking about. It's all been a show. In reality, the Democrats could care less about any of that. The Democrats that are in power, because they only use that in order to get elected. And in order to stay elected, I think in a certain sense, they get elected in order to oppose, but in order to get reelected, they have to pretend that they're accomplishing something, which is very difficult if you have government shutdowns.
Not worth anything, and that you should not have a Trump shutdown. You have the White House, the Trump shutdown. You have the White House.
So she tries to slip in, you shouldn't have a Trump shutdown, and he stops her and he laughs at her attempt at trolling back. And it's a pretty weak attempt.
You have the Senate, you have the House of Representatives, you have the votes. You should pass it.
No, we don't have the votes, Nancy, because in the Senate we need 60 votes.
No, but in the House,
and we don't have.
You could bring it up right now.
Yeah, but I can't, excuse me, but I can't get it passed in the House if it's not going to pass in the Senate. I don't want to waste time.
Well, the fact is you can get it started that way.
The House we can get passed very easily,
okay,
and we do. But the
it.
problem is the Senate, because we need 10 Democrats.
So if she would have shut her stupid old mouth, she would have been out of this situation, but she decided to she decided to object. And, I guess she felt the need to do it because otherwise she would have just sat there and taken it, and that would have looked bad as well. But it's going to look worse than that, and you're going to see why.
To vote, and
that's
they
not
won't
the
vote.
point, Mr. President. The point is that there are equities to be weighed, and we're here to have a conversation in a prayerful way. So I don't think we should have a debate in front of the press on this. But the fact is, the House Republicans could bring up this bill if they had the votes immediately and set the tone for what you want.
If we thought we were going to get it passed in the Senate, Nancy, we would do it immediately. We'd get it passed very easily in the House.
No, that's
we
not
would get it, Nancy, I'd have it passed in 2 seconds. It doesn't matter, though, because we can't get it passed in the Senate because we need 10 Democrats.
So basically they're arguing over basic civics because apparently I think for a budget bill in the Senate, they might need 60 votes, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. I don't know why everything in the Senate needs that big of a supermajority, but clearly it does. So, the Democrats have been obstructing his funding agendas over the past 2 years, and really, I think what has to happen in order for anything to move is that you're going to need more than two parties, because when you have everything riding on when one party has less than 60 votes but has a majority and the other party has a minority, then it's still not functional. But if two parties could get together and kind of screw the other one, well, that would work. Now, it wouldn't necessarily work because they could be implementing shitty ideas. I'm just putting it out there.
Again, let us have our conversation, then we can meet with the press again. But the fact is that legislating, which is what we do, you begin, you make your point, you state your case. That's what the House Republicans could do if they had the votes. But there are no votes in the House, a majority of votes, for a wall, no matter where you start.
Exactly right. You don't have
If I needed the votes for the wall in the House, I would have them in one session.
Well,
would be done.
Go do it.
It doesn't help because we need 10 Democrats in the Senate.
Don't put it on the Senate. Put it on the negotiation.
Okay, let me ask you this, and we're doing this in a very friendly manner. It doesn't help for me to take a vote in the House where I will win easily.
So did you catch that? You see that look on her face? So he says, we're doing this in a very friendly manner. So look how she reacts.
Don't put it on the Senate. Put it on the negotiation.
Okay, let me ask you this, and we're doing this in a very friendly manner. It doesn't help
so she winces in pain, basically.
for me to take a vote in the House where I will win easily with the Republicans.
You will not win.
It doesn't help to take that vote because I'm not going to get the vote of the Senate. I need 10 senators. That's the problem.
Mr. President, you have the White House, you have the Senate.
I have the White House. The White House is done, and the House would give me the vote if I wanted it, but I can't because I need, Nancy, I need 10 votes from Chuck.
All right, let me say something here.
Let me just say one thing. The fact is, you do not have the votes in the House.
Nancy, I do. And we need
Well,
border
let's take the
security.
vote, we'll
Nancy,
find out.
Nancy, we need border security. It's very simple.
Of course we do.
We need border security.
We do.
People are pouring into our country, including terrorists. We have terrorists. We caught 10 terrorists.
So Pence is just, you see Pence is just like staring into space. He's like looking at them. I don't know how, Mike Pence is like probably, to get into his mind, it's like basically watching him, he'd probably be like, well, I never knew that this whole working for the government thing could be so interesting, because he's been in Congress, he's been a governor too, so he's just staring at them going back and forth.
Terrorists over the last very short period of time. 10. These are very serious people. Our border agents, all of our law enforcement has been incredible what they've done. But we caught 10 terrorists. These are people that were looking to do harm. We need the wall. We need, more important than anything, we need border security, of which the wall is just a piece. But it's important. Chuck, did you want to say something?
Yeah, here's what I want to say. We have a lot of disagreements here. The Washington Post today gave you a whole lot of Pinocchios because they say you constantly misstate how much the wall is built, how much of the wall.
So this is him using the Washington Post. I don't know if he's that out of touch, but people don't really trust the Washington Post anymore, because they've had to walk back so many of their stories. So, they have a prestigious history. They were the paper that broke Watergate. People talk about them all the time. But every single time that they have to retract a story, or retract at least a portion of a story, a few people start to walk away and decide, well, do I really trust what this paper says? Do they really have integrity or not?
Wall is built and how much is there. But that's not the point here. We have a disagreement about the wall, whether it's effective or not. Not on border security, but on the wall. We do not want to shut down the government. You have called 20 times to shut down the government. You say, I want to shut down the government. We don't. We want to come to an agreement. If we can't come to an agreement, we have solutions that will pass the House and Senate right now and will not shut down the government, and that's what we're urging you to do. Not threaten to shut down the government, because let me just finish, because you can't get your way.
The last time you shut it down, you got killed.
Let me say something, Mr. President. You just say.
Yeah, he's throwing it back in his face, because last February, Schumer did shut down the government, and he caved within like a couple days or something.
My way, or we'll shut down the government. We have a proposal that Democrats and Republicans will support to do a CR that will not shut down the government. We urge you to take it.
And if it's not good border security, I won't take it.
It is very good border security.
And if it's not good border security, I won't take it.
It's what the
Because when you look at these numbers of the effectiveness of our border security, and when you look at the job that we're doing with our military.
You just said it is effective.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, you just said
without
it's effective.
a wall, these are only areas where you have the walls.
We want to do
where
this.
you have walls, Chuck, it's effective.
So he's talking walls again. It's all about the walls, man.
Don't have walls. It is not effective.
Yeah.
Let's call a halt to this. We've come in here as the first branch of government, Article 1, the legislative branch. We're coming in good faith to negotiate with you about how we can keep the government
open.
We're going to keep it open if we have border security. If we don't have border security, Chuck, we're not going to keep it open.
I'm with you. We are going to have border security.
And it's the same border. You're bragging about what has been done.
By us.
We want to do the same thing we did last year, this year. That's our proposal. If it's good then, it's good now.
So yeah, he's full of shit, because he's like, well, if we did a half-assed job last time, we should do a half-assed job this time too. Understand that what Trump is saying is that, well, last time we got enough money to build some of the wall. Now, since it's been validated that this does help, we want to finish the job. And they're like, no. Half-assed job again. It's all the time half-assed all the way, baby.
And it won't shut down the government.
Chuck, we can build a much bigger section with more money.
Let's debate in private. Okay? Yeah, let's debate in private.
That is devoid, frankly, of fact, and we can.
We need border.
So they're getting really bent out of shape because they have to talk. This is something they probably never expected to happen. President Bush would have never done it to them. President Obama obviously didn't. I mean, I would bet that President Obama would never want the press in on his talks with any member of any of these leading members of Congress, because it would show how little of a spine he had, because he would just Schumer and Pelosi were both, or back in the day rather, it was Harry Reid. They would basically walk all over him and say, "Look, Barack, we can't do anything that you want to do because we don't have the votes." And he'd say, "Okay," and that's how they lost Congress. That's how they lost. That's how they ended up wasting 8 years. And maybe we're better off because he could have done worse than he did because President Obama was a shitty president. And this is a person who decides, well, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that this is some sort of sacred ritual. The American people can just watch me do this and talk to you guys. What's the problem?
Security. I think we all agree that we need border security.
Yes, we do. Good, we do.
See, we get along. Thank you, everybody.
Schumer's just he's looking like he's ready to literally shit his pants.
You say border security and the wall. Can you have border security without the wall?
You need the wall. The wall is a part of border security.
What it means to have border security.
Yeah, yes. We need border security. The wall is a part of border security. You can't have very good border security without the wall.
That's really not true. That is a political promise. Border security is a way to effectively honor our responsibility.
And the experts say you can do border security without a wall, which is wasteful and doesn't solve the problem.
It totally solves the problem.
I don't want to take this.
And it's very important.
This has spiraled downward when we came at a place to say, how do we meet the needs of American people who have needs?
So she thought when she objected to something he said that he wouldn't react, but he totally, and you can see Sarah Sanders is just staring at her, and it's it's just bedlam here. It's like she's lost her composure because she's like, well, I thought we were gonna have a discussion about that. He's like, no, I want my wall. I want my fucking wall. She wants to talk in generalities about bipartisanship, and he's like, fuck you, the wall, the wall.
And the economy people are losing their jobs. The market's in a mood. Our members are already.
Well, we have the lowest unemployment that we've had in 50 years.
60 people of the Republican Party are losing their offices now because of the transition. People are not. The morale.
And we've gained in the Senate, Nancy. We've gained in the Senate. Excuse me. Did we win the Senate? We won the Senate.
When the president brags that he won North Dakota and Indiana, he's in real trouble.
I did. Let me say this.
We did win.
So this is not Chuck Schumer saying that. Let's rewind here and say it again.
Excuse me. Did we win the Senate? We won the Senate.
When the president brags that he won North Dakota and Indiana, he's in real trouble.
So that's a problem for him because first of all, he's dismissing those two states as if they're unimportant, North Dakota and Indiana, where in the past they were like, well, we need to work to earn the trust of people in Indiana. Well, he's sitting right across the table from, might I remind you can only see his leg right now, but Mike Pence, who used to be the governor of Indiana. And by the way, he forgot to mention Missouri and Florida, which were also basically swiped from the Democrats. So where is he's basically talking out of his ass. He's dismissing the flyover states again, and that's not how you earn the trust back of American voters.
I did.
Let me say this.
We did win North Dakota.
This is the most unfortunate thing. We came in here in good faith, and we're entering into this kind of a discussion in the public view.
But it's not bad, Nancy. It's called transparency.
I know. It's not transparency when we're not stipulating to a set of facts and when we want to have a debate with you about saying we confront some of those facts without.
You know what? We need border security. That's what we're going to be talking about, border security. If we don't have border security, we'll shut down the government. This country needs border security. The wall is a part of border security. Let's have a talk. We're going to get the wall built, and we've done a lot of wall already.
How big a part of border security is the wall?
It's a big section. It's a big part of it.
Is it everything that you need?
It's a big part of it. We need to have effective border security. We need a wall in certain parts. No, not in all parts, but in certain parts of a 2,000-mile border, we need a wall.
How much money?
We are doing it much under budget. We're actually way under budget on the areas that we've renovated and areas that we've built. I would say if we got $5 billion, we could do a tremendous chunk of wall.
Mr. President, are you willing to accept less, though?
So he's just saying it. Tremendous chunk of wall. This is the way you talk to viewers. You talk to them. Tremendous chunk of wall. That's something that people understand.
Are your guests?
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. Look, we have to have the wall. This isn't a question. This is a national emergency. Drugs are pouring into our country. People with tremendous medical difficulty and medical problems are pouring in, and in many cases, it's contagious. They're pouring into our country. We have to have border security. We have to have a wall as part of border security. And I don't think we really disagree so much. I also know that, Nancy's in a...
So this is him again, kind of roping them in because he's saying, well, we don't really disagree on that much because and they don't object to him saying, well, some of them are sick, stuff like that. Holy shit, I might get deported. It's like fun. It's funny. It's just funny watching them squirm.
Situation where it's not easy for her to talk right now, and I understand that, and I fully understand that. We're going to have a good discussion, and we're going to see what happens. But we have to have border security.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this meeting as the leader of the House Democrats who just won a big victory.
Elections have consequences, Mr. President.
Let me just say.
That's right. And that's why the country is doing so well.
What the President is representing in terms of his cards over there are not factual. We have to have an evidence-based conversation about what does work, what money has been spent, and how effective it is. This is about the security of our country, to take an oath to protect and defend. And we don't want to have that mischaracterized by anyone. And
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So let us have a conversation where we don't have to contradict in public the statistics that you put forth, but instead can have a conversation about what will really work and what the American people deserve from us at this uncertain time in their lives.
The one thing I think we can agree on is we shouldn't shut down the government over a dispute. And you want to shut it down. You keep talking about it.
The last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened it up very quickly. And
20 times.
I don't want to do what you did.
20 times you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my wool. None of us have said.
You want to know something?
You've said it.
Okay, you want to put that on my...
You've said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other.
So it's all body language here because Schumer is clearly uncomfortable. This is one of the things it doesn't come down. I myself, I can talk about certain like situations I get into, and I probably will at some time, where body language does hurt you, and that's clearly you see Schumer here is basically leaning forward, not in a good position. And Trump is very comfortable. Plus, the cameras are positioned so that he looks like he's in a power position.
Whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it.
Schumer was like wagging it off earlier. Now he has to nod and because he just can't take it anymore.
Down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't shut it down.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
And she's just stunned.
We have a lot of great people for chief of staff. A lot of people want the job. A lot of people want the job. And I have some great people. A lot of friends of mine want it. A lot of people that Chuck and Nancy know very well want it. I think people you'd like. We have a lot of people that want the job, chief of staff. So we'll be seeing what happens very soon. We're in no rush.
Why?
We're in no rush.
Why no rush, Mr. President?
Why? Because we have a wonderful chief of staff right now. We are in no rush. Over a period of a week or two, or maybe less, we'll announce who it's going to be. But we have a lot of people that want the position. Thank you very much, everyone.
So he just trolls them the entire time. They have not. What are they supposed to do? Nothing. They can't do shit. They're stuck there. They can't do it. They're there with him in public. There's nothing they hate more than appearing with him in public, talking to him, having to, because they want to play it both ways. On the one hand, they want to say, well, we're the resistance. We're not going to let Donald Trump, push us around or anything. Then they have to actually show people, well, we're not just obstructing government. We're actually getting our job done. Well, they're not, because they come to him and they pretend that they're going to talk about something, and then they spend the whole time wringing their hands and, looking all sheepish and embarrassed. So that's about it. Back to live streaming. Please like my video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Sorry for the weird start today, because I did have it on private before, so it kind of repeats the video. But I hope you did enjoy, because I certainly did. And I'll see you guys later.